and everywhere we can possibly share it, we're going to share it. So LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. So if you missed this, we can send it to you later on YouTube. But I'm so excited to have Nicole here. Nicole and I had the pleasure of meeting when she came to Kansas City for a film festival, and she was sharing me with me her vision of the film that she is going to share with you more about. But Nicole's just an absolute pleasure to get to know, to be friends with now for a couple of years, because with the pandemic, like everything was shut down. There wasn't a film festival last year. And so we've just stayed connected over social media. She's just such a bright light and wanting to help people. So Nicole, go ahead and share where you're from, what you do, and all about this documentary.
Sure. Well, thank you so much for having me. Definitely a pleasure to know you too. Loved going back to Kansas City. So I originally lived there for a couple of years and had an opportunity to film my first documentary focusing on veterans there. And so that's why I was so excited to return a couple of years later at that film festival that we connected at. So it was really, really great. So goodness, every time someone asks me, tell me about yourself, tell me about your projects, it's always so hard to focus. It's like, who am I really? Can we start over?
I should have sent you some neuro in that package I sent you. I sent Nicole a goodie pack. And she was already telling me she had more energy from one of the things I sent her. And she's so excited to use the products. I'm like, maybe I should have sent you some neuro too. Because I feel like
I know it's just Friday, I guess.
As an entrepreneur, as someone that has a lot of things they're working on, busy people, right? Successful people. It's hard for us to sometimes focus and all of that, right? So yeah, you're good. So you live in New Jersey now, right?
I do. I live in New Jersey now. Part of a veteran family. We're 20 years. We traveled all over. So my best friends are in the military and veterans, and really understand, not completely because I wasn't in the military, but really understand, the challenges and issues that veterans and their families have dealt with since, 9/11. And so I really felt compelled to use my talents and skills to tell the story of not only, veterans and their families and how they move forward from, certain challenges, and then the vehicles that are out there, specifically grassroots organizations that are supporting veterans and families and active duty military, across our country. And I found some great ones in Kansas City. That's where I filmed my first film, The Journey Back to Normal, Horses and Heroes, Camp Valor Outdoors, and then Equi Team Support Services on this side of the country, finished filming here as well. And so that was the film I screened at many film festivals across the country. And so for this second film, it is called Hidden Wounds, and was approached to start this project because, as you know or may not know, filming a documentary is a very, very big project and a huge undertaking in terms of resources, time, and talent. So, I definitely have assembled a great team, some from my other film, and then now this one, and we will continue to tell those stories of grassroots organizations, but it will have different elements in it as well. We really want to hone in on the raw story of both men and women who have served our country and who are still serving, who are willing to tell their story, because we want to really shed light on the the efforts that they're putting forth and the sacrifices they're putting forth. And a lot of service members don't want to share their story, which is fine. But some do want to share their story to really communicate that, yes, I have been overseas. I have seen this. I have experienced trauma that, most people can't even fathom, but I have overcome. They have overcome. And they also will communicate that it is a lifelong process for some. Every day they are faced with sometimes memories they don't want to remember. But being immersed and in a true community of veterans and even first responders as well, because a lot of the nonprofits serve first responders as well. Because as you can imagine, there are first responders out on the front lines every single day of their life. So they're deployed every day, policemen, EMTs, nurses, doctors, especially during the pandemic. So they do support first responders as well. So we want to highlight complementary therapies, different ways to heal as well. And a lot of these nonprofits incorporate complementary therapies as well. So really excited to start filming. We're raising the funds to do so because, as I mentioned, it does require a lot of resources. And we do want to shed light on all of the different issues because they're important, right down to the need for high quality housing. I know that it sounds, uninteresting. But when you think about it, people exiting the military, a lot of women and men are ready to move forward, but in this housing industry across the country, you have to really understand and that there isn't enough veteran housing. There's not enough high quality housing really for any vulnerable population. So we will shed light on that. We have a few nonprofits that we will highlight that are building veterans villages, and will have the continued support that they so very deserve after they move in. So it's not going to be these veterans villages per se. They're not going to be I guess supportive housing per se, but they will have many different programs in close proximity so they can continue to thrive, and their families as well, because families do make that sacrifice for many, many, many years. So
well, it's just incredible what you're doing. I just commend it. And we were talking about just like giving some ideas, and you had then people can go back and check this out on your page, but you had just a few minutes ago, you had a live interview, and tell about that live interview and what you were doing on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I have, several friends all over the country, just because I've lived all over, including in North Carolina. I lived there for almost 10 years near Fort Bragg. And so through, the military community, I met some really great friends. And this one friend, Trisha Van Delsen, she has an artist friend who highlights and creates these beautiful pieces of artwork that highlight famous people who actually have dealt with mental health or who have committed suicide tragically. So she wanted to shed light on, the importance of mental health. And well, sometimes, unfortunately, our society does, they're more attracted to famous people, but I think it is a great way to shed light and highlight, that it can affect anyone. Depression, anxiety, PTSD, it can affect anyone. When you think about Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain and Robin Williams, and then some prominent figures who served in the military. So this piece of artwork that she created for us so that we can auction to fundraise for our film production highlights some famous figures that you will recognize. I can share my screen, but although I can just share the link later as well.
Yeah, let's just share the link later and then they can just click on it and find it, see it.
Okay.
So I'll post that up in the notes and everything so we can share it so people can bid on that. So we can have some fundraising going for you and that cause.
Thank
And,
you.
you know, it's, you know, like I have my great grandpa and my father-in-law and, you know, there's lots of servicemen and women. And, you know, like my aunt said yesterday, you know, my grandma who didn't serve, but she was impacted because she was at home serving her family, right? And so it's not always, you know, a life that is easy, right? Like it's not easy for those families either. So not easy for anyone, right? So they have to, there's some commitment there that they, you know, committed to the country and for all of us, and we have freedom because of all of that. So it's just amazing honor to be a part of something. And, you know, like I said, I would just want to help you as much as I can. So I'm excited to do this today and have you share. And I know you and I were working together on health and wellness products that will help veterans, help other people, whether it's, you said energy today, like the thing I sent you is helping you with energy, the little packet. And then there's some things that may help with depression, anxiety, PTSD, things like that, right? So just alternative ways to help people. We don't, just so you know, we don't claim to cure, prevent, treat anything, but when you get of the, you know, down to the core of the DNA and into the body, and the body's the miracle, you know, at the same time, I know for me, just in that anxiety, you know, last year, losing family, grief, all of that, like it's dark. And here we are going into a season with the holidays, like those feelings are real for people and, you know, loneliness and, you know, if they have things, I was just talking with a friend of mine who is a veteran. We went to high school together and, you know, he's having a hard time right now. And, you know, there's people out there to help. So I just appreciate you sharing today and getting the message out. Is there anything else you want to add to anything you said or anything you want to share?
Well, I guess I just wanted to emphasize the fact that anyone that, you know, wants help, wants support, you know, there's so many different resources out there, and that's the primary reason why we're going to film this, so we can highlight those grassroots organizations. But those organizations are really in every community, and they're growing, and they're really helping veterans and their families one day at a time, on a very personal level. So and it's going to create awareness, so that those nonprofits can survive, because
Right.
even with nonprofits, they need resources to help veterans and their families to ultimately save their lives.
Yep.
One more organization that I wanted to mention that's going to be in the film is called Awareness 22. And they're based out in Ohio, and they started very small, just helping one veteran at a time. They have you know, minimal resources, but they're raising money all the time. And they just told us a story on the other Facebook Live. Kevin Van Hosier, he's the director. He had said that they literally just saved another veteran's life like 2 days ago.
Aw,
He reached
that's
out,
great.
and he was gonna, you know, take his own life, and they're, you know, connecting with him, you know, every single minute, and
Yes.
really helping him. So they're really, 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 really walking the walk, because it's just so vital. It is such it's a vital effort. And in terms of what they have done for us, you know, Veterans Day was yesterday. We honored veterans, but I know this sounds, you know, a little corny, but every day should be Veterans Day. And yeah, so
Yeah,
before I get too emotional.
I know when you said that it was saving someone's life, it's like you don't always realize when someone's reaching out to you. I mean, my friend reached out to me the other night and you could tell he needs someone to talk to. He needs someone that can relate to him, and he's hurting, you know, just a lot of things have happened in his life, and he's surviving those. And there's a reason God has put, you know, we continue to communicate, and, it goes back as far as high school, so,
Yes.
sometimes people may reach out to you and you don't know what to do or who to get them in touch with, but just sometimes, talking with someone and being that person that cares, right? Like, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing is people feel sometimes so lonely. And if they don't have family, if they don't have a significant other, and even if they do, sometimes they still feel lonely. There's people out there who have all of those things, yet still feel lonely. I wish I had the book with me that I'm reading right now, but I don't. I think it's called Winning the War in Your Mind, but it's been such a great book for me, and I'm only like 2 chapters in. So I just appreciate your time, Nicole, today. And I know you shared a couple of nonprofits and organizations. So check out Nicole's page. You can read all about everything, and then we'll post up a link so you can go out and check out more information. We
Great.
so appreciate you. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Oh, well, I shouldn't forget this too. I mean, my daily work supports veterans as well. So I've worked for several nonprofits over the last few years, Haven Women and now VBC Giving Foundation, both supporting veterans. So, I try not to talk the talk either, and I walk the walk even during the day. So as much as I can, and then of course through my film work as well. So, yeah.
You're doing everything you can to help, it sounds like, and you have such a giving heart. So I love that about you. And all right, well, we'll see you guys later. Happy Friday. Yeah, every day should be Veterans Day. And it's just a great way. Nicole and I are partnering together in more ways than one. So if you know veterans, get them in touch with Nicole, and we can start helping them in lots of different ways. So appreciate everyone for listening today. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.